Well, here we are, round three for foundational leadership characteristics and traits. So we'll wrap this up, I think, on this round. So I'd like to share with you some things I call diamonds in the rough. Here's number one. Be in control of your job, not a victim of it. And that can be challenging sometimes. Be in control of your job, not a victim of it. Sometimes we get stuck in crisis management. One thing about crisis management, sometimes we think, oh, it's crazy. The fact of the matter is, sometimes it's easier in crisis management because there's no question what you're going to do next, right? The fire, put it out. But that's not the way to live. So when we get stuck in crisis management, look for the solution. Don't rest in the adrenaline creating environment, because chaos brings new order. Chaos brings new order. Something happens that needs to be fixed, a process changed, a schedule altered, whatever it is. Work through the issue, right? If you don't work through the issue, this is what's going to be thrown back at you. Maybe not directly, but at the water cooler, so to speak. That we don't know how to solve problems. And that's not encouraging to the people who report to us. So chaos brings new order. Find the order. Because ultimately, you want a smooth running operation. I can tell you from experience, it's a whole lot easier and it's a whole lot more fun to have a smooth running operation. So get back to it as soon as possible. Okay, manage based on plans, not distractions. If you put a plan together, there's a very good chance that despite the fact there's a distraction, it's still a good plan. Stick to the plan. Push the distractions off to the side. Let your work speak for itself. You don't have to brag what you do. Let it speak for itself. And while you're letting your work speak for itself, never forget what it was like to be on the other side. All the people that report to you, whether it's management level people, whether in your first supervisory job it was the frontline people that do the work every day, never forget what it's like to be in the position of the one you're leading. You'll do a much better job when you do that. Business is not a democracy. Why do I say this? One of the things I like to do is to have group meetings with my employees and my work teams. And this is detail I cover in future segments of this leadership training. But I bring it up now simply to say, when I sit down with folks and I ask them for their opinion, that's what I'm asking for, an opinion. If I go out and I ask them, what do you think we should change? They're going to come up with a bunch of things. That's good. The decisions we make to run the business based on the recommendations and the choices and all those things does not put the business up for democracy. It's not for a vote. You're getting ideas, right? So I say that for this reason, not saying anything against what the suggestions you get, but when you make a decision, it's yours, right? You make the decision, it's yours, okay? And while you're doing all that, as I mentioned before, speak with confidence. There's so much to be gained when your people, your work team, your peers' work groups, your boss sees you working in confidence. Because every single person that benefits from you benefits by your character, right? So speak with confidence. So here's some summary bullets for you, okay? Very briefly, but these are very important. This is how you look at your leadership long term, okay? It's a marathon, not a sprint. It's a marathon. It goes on forever, or almost forever. It seems like forever sometimes. I'm going to go back to something I mentioned in one of my other videos. When I was promoted, the district manager in Wisconsin who promoted me into my first management job, I went into his office and he told me this. Steve, you will never leave your job in the office. The day before I was doing an hourly job and the job started and finished every day. He said, you'll never leave your job in the office. And he was very true about that because we think about it all the time. So this thing, leadership, is a marathon, not a sprint. You can't run fast for 3 days and make it for the 3 years. It's an ongoing process. It's a marathon, not a sprint. It's an approach, not a goal. We have goals, for sure. But do you know that the smoothness and the value of your leadership is how you handle the journey? How do you take a massive goal and break it down into workable bite-sized pieces? That's taking a long-term goal. Let's say you wanted to build 100,000 widgets right at the end of the year. You're going to break that down to 8,500 a month. Then you're going to break it down to 2,000 a week. Then you're going to break it down to 400 a day, right? The 400 a day number you can handle. 100,000 at the end of a year, the number's too big. It's the approach. It's the journey that gets it done. And if we don't know the journey, and I'm going to go so far as say you need to like the journey. If you like the journey, if you like the process, you're in a good place, right? Yes, there's a goal, but focus on the milestones along the way. Focus on the 8,500 each month, the 2,000 a week, the 400 a day. Experience the victory every day. Good. It's an approach, not a goal. Begin today. I mentioned this in another video as well. When I say begin today, don't lose time. Don't waste time, because guess what? 3 minutes ago was over with already. We can't go back there. And I remember I'm going to remind you of something that I mentioned in a previous video. When I was in the 9th grade and I was on a football team, we had an excellent team. We all knew it. The coach knew it. But at the beginning of the first game of the season, this is what he said to us. And what I'm going to tell you that he said has never left my mind. He said this: you can't go undefeated unless you win the first game. Now, how true is that? Logically, it's 100% correct, right? You can't go undefeated unless you win the first game. But what's the point? Today is important. Don't worry about the end of the season. Don't worry about the potential undefeated season. Look at today and get it done. And by the way, we were undefeated. I never forgot it. Look for opportunities. Always be looking for opportunities to treat people well, to make adjustments in your work, to introduce a new product, provide a new service, right? Not on a whim. Think it out. Put a plan together. But look for opportunities. Because what's one thing about opportunities? Somebody wins. And it's not you necessarily because you provided it. The person that receives the service, receives the product, and loves it, they are victorious. They win. They get the benefits, right? Let me just throw this out there as well, okay? Now that I almost brought this up. Your plans should be to provide the best service, provide the best products. Let profits be your reward, not the goal. The products and the service provide the revenue, which provides the profits. Let profits be your reward for running a good business. And last but not least, well, it's not quite last but not least. It's the last one on this list. It's lonely at the top. I talked about this once before as well. It's lonely at the top. The better you get, the fewer peers you have. And obviously, when you're a CEO, you have no peers. You have to go to the CEO club down the street to find peers. But I have to say this: And I can tell you from experience, it might be lonely at the top sometimes, but it's the best place to see from. You could see everything. You can see everything as well. And remember, as you walk your journey, remember this. What you focus on, you empower. People are watching. Let them see the best of you. Have a great day.